The next one on my list is emergency work order hours as a percentage of total maintenance hours. You know, you can look at it this way: firefighters do not want to be out there fighting fires; they prefer to prevent them. That's as we look at our maintenance tasks and what we're doing there, we're in the same thing, right? We want to prevent the breakdowns. We don't want to get the pat on the back for having fixed the most broken things in a year. Breakdowns on the job are costly. They impact our schedule. They keep us from getting things done. So um, we want to make sure that we're applying that properly as it goes. So with that is really, again, and both these metrics require that you have some flags, identify them in your system. These are not easy metrics to track, but by identifying these emergency work order hours and dividing them by our total work order hours, now we can understand how much of our time is spent running to the fire versus, taking care of things before they break. Honestly, onboarding a new employee today and had this discussion around, do we fix this now or do I wait until it fails? Well, we have an opportunity to fix it now when it doesn't interrupt operation. If we wait till later, it will interrupt operations and it will cost us double in lost production and things like that. So, having a good path to this, it really says, hey, am I planning my work? Am I properly focusing on that? It's a great way to measure that overall.
Thanks, Tim. And I think we're going to pause right now. We've thrown a lot of information at you in about the first 44 minutes here. So, Yvette, do we have any questions up to this point that we want to go through?
Hi, everyone. We actually did have one question, and it was put into the Q&A, and Tim did answer it. But I think it was a good question, maybe to get it out loud, and Tim can maybe elaborate. So the question was, is the preventative maintenance and predictive maintenance calculation based on hours?
So the way we put this forth is on work orders, and it has to do with the level of difficulty. It's a lot easier to bucket your work orders and understand where they sit. We just talked about in advanced metrics of focusing on hours and getting down that realm. Most people starting off are definitely going to be looking at total work order counts as a way to get there. That said, ratios being what they are, if you're really good at tracking hours and you have a very concise system, you may be able to get there. As I put in the answer there, I do discourage that. There's a lot of opportunity for you to miss something in that, get a little bit off track, and it compounds very quickly when looking at these, especially when you're aggregating total hours. So recommended on this is look at your total count of productive work orders within your system versus your total count of your overall count of all work orders and doing the measurements there. It'll give you a lot crisper results as you go through it.
Thanks, Tim. That's all we have for questions right now. Again, the Q&A is open and it will be open through the end of the webinar. You can please drop your questions in there.
Sounds good. Thanks, Yvette. So please, again, as Yvette said, feel free to ask questions. We will have another Q&A segment here at the end, but now I think we got something exciting to show you between Carol and I. We're going to give you kind of a little bit of a tour and a sneak peek of the survey itself and going to the website and completing it, and also the benefits and the different types of reports that you can receive. So when you go to hecomparator.com, this is the screen that you're going to come to. And at that point, you'll enter your username, to log in, or your email to register. And then, once you do, you will come to, to a screen, which I'll show you in a moment here, and you'll then be able to enter the survey. I did want to talk about one thing real quick before we jump over to the website. And you will see there are going to be a pretty good number of demographics that we ask you for. And there's a reason for that. Our company, we're a site work contractor, a little over $100 million, here in Pennsylvania. So if we're trying to compare our utilization and, our operation to a company that does different type of work that maybe is, paving focused, heavy highway focused, and they're in Arizona, that's not going to be the best comparison. There's some things that it doesn't matter, right? But there's other things that it does. So we're going to ask for some information so that we can give you the best results as far as comparing yourself to other companies just like you. So that's really the purpose, of what you're asking for, or why we're asking for that information.